Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. I'm the account executive. This is Chad, Hannah, Michael, and Lynn, and our client is Atomic Ballroom. I'm gonna hand it over to Chad.
Hope everyone's having a good day. So, yes, our client is Atomic Ballroom. They're a dance studio located in Irvine, right off the 55 freeway off of Red Gum. And when we first met with them, they're pretty good, well off already as it is. I believe when we first started doing research, they were like ranked number 5 of dance studios around Orange County. So they're by no means like a startup company. Nikki and Sisha Marvin started the company in 2004. So it's been about 15 years that they've been around, and they're pretty good and successful-wise. And I was going to say they recently had a little bit of a crisis before we started working with them, before the consultation, about a little less than half a year or so ago. They had a second just had a brain. Yeah, second location. They had it was kind of like their main location in Fullerton, and due to building problems and such, they had to close it down. So now all they have is the primary location in Irvine. But it's still, regardless, even with that crisis, they still do a good job on Friday nights. They go on with their social dances. They go anywhere from 200 to 300 customers or guests on one social dance, which is pretty good considering also the size of their building that they have in Irvine. And they have a lot of teachers. All their staff members, besides the staff behind the desk on the computers, they're all experienced dancers, and they're all very friendly. And it's just a very good, the feeling that we got from the consultation. It's just a very friendly environment, and we had extremely high hopes. And yeah.
And these are some pictures that these are actually their pictures that we started with when we started working with them. So after we met with them the first time, we came up with the SWOT analysis to figure out how we could best help improve Atomic. Some of the strengths that they had were that they had a good customer return rate, they had a wide variety of classes, and also a diverse age range. And some of their weaknesses were that their flyers needed improvement, their location building is kind of in a tricky area, it's hard to find, and they didn't have a PR or social media person at the time, and I don't believe they still do. So their Instagram and everything wasn't really up to date. The opportunities they had was that they were able to reach a wider audience, as well as they had the ability to gain more social media followers and increase engagement. Some of their threats were that there were other dance studios in OC, and they were limited to only one location.
All right, to go over some of the demographics, we came up with these after talking to our client to help target our audience. So we targeted people between the ages of 30 and 65 years old. Gender and race, all types of those. Marital status, we targeted people who were single and divorced because they found that those types of people were more popular to come into the dance studio. Annual income was $45,000. We came up with that because Shaysha and Nikki addressed to us that the people coming into the dance studio had a little extra money to spend, so that's how we came up with that number. Bachelor's degree for education level and location in Irvine.
All right, so next we have the psychographics. This also helped us determine our target audience. So these people were mostly in the middle upper class. These people really enjoy personal time. They value exercise. They enjoy the social aspect of life. That's why they come there for kind of a fun way to get some exercise throughout their day. These people are mostly free-spirited, kind of just enjoy some personal value in their free time. And pass it off to Lynn.
So with all of that researches that we had done for our clients, we came up with a strategy to make the business be known more widely, to accomplish the strategy, we decided the tactics, including to gain followers on social media, especially on Instagram, and then attract more students to the studio, especially on the daytime. So we have been using some tools to work on our goals, that including a camera, Photoshop, Adobe, and InDesign. So I use a camera to go to the studio to take some photos and design some flyers for them. Our goals to work on that to meet the tactics is that to redesign a social media platform, that including using our own photographic, and we use hashtags for Instagram, as well as redesign the flyers and brochures.
Okay, so for our resources, Atomic provided us with their time from the start to help us plan our goals and let us know like what they were looking for. We had a lot of meetings with them at the beginning. And then they also gave us access to their website as well as their app, so we would be aware of what classes, social dances, and events they had going on that week. And they gave us access to their facility if we needed to come in and take pictures. Some of the resources that our team provided was skills in photography, videography, and editing, as well as social media expertise and experience designing flyers. We had originally planned to have our campaign like full force mid-March, but things didn't really go as planned, and we ended up parting ways with Atomic March 21st. And then we just focused on finishing the final campaign book and turning this into a learning experience so that we could prevent it from happening in future events.
Okay, so with that being said, for our campaign outcomes is basically what happened. So from the start, we obviously met with them, went over our goals and objectives. We thought we had a clear understanding with each other and thought the communication was going well, but kind of as we started going through, we learned that we weren't really on the same page, and we tried to give them our time and our resources by creating the Instagram posts and flyers and things like that. However, when Lynn went to go in there for the first time to go take the photos, all the teachers in there were a little bit confused. No one was really on the same page. The students felt uncomfortable, so that also just kind of created an awkward environment for everybody in there for Lynn trying to take those photos. So that was kind of how things kind of started to go downhill. And then we did try to recommend a photo release form, which also got shut down by them. They said that wasn't completely necessary, although we believed it was. So then that kind of eliminated the fact that we could go in there and take photos to create new content for their Instagram. So after that, we were like, okay, so what can we do now to create new Instagram posts without using our own photography? And we kind of started brainstorming with that. And during that process, Shaysha, one of the owners, was saying maybe it's better if we just kind of part ways. So after that, we obviously came across some disagreements, but we ended it in a civil manner. So we wish them the best. They wish us the best. We're on good terms. Everything's good. But yeah, so it was definitely a learning experience. So we'll go on to the measuring success from there.
All right. So to measure success, although we can't measure pretty much what our goals were for them, we're just going to measure how we educated them and what we learned from the experience. So Atomic has taken full advantage of all the tips that we gave them from the beginning. We pointed out that their Instagram was visually unaesthetic. They weren't using it to their fullest advantage. They weren't posting on their stories. They weren't doing sponsored ads, any of that kind of stuff. So we kind of made it clear to them from the start that that's what you have to do. They weren't engaging with their following pretty much, and that's what we just preached to them. So now looking back at it, you can see that their followers they've gotten more followers. They've fixed things up on their websites. They're starting to use their stories and stuff. So the overall measuring success, they did learn a lot from us. And then as for us as a group, we learned a lot from them. To deal with situations that come about unexpectedly. You know, it didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but we still ran with it and learned what we could.
So due to the circumstances of our campaign, as a team, we decided to incorporate a whole nother section of our final campaign report book, and that's this part right here, and that is recommendations. So it was a great learning experience, and I think we learned just as much as our client Atomic did. And going off of that, looking forward, where could they go from here? These, backed by research, are our 4 main recommendations that that we hope they take into consideration. And it was just such a learning experience. So the first one is being accurate and up to date. I think with any business, a client agency or a business that doesn't have any agency working for them, if they're on their own or anything, just in any business aspect, it's extremely important to keep all your information accurate and up to date, because if it's not up to date, well, then it's not accurate. So they go hand in hand. And along with that also is staying on the same page. When you have everything with your business is accurate and up to date, and you correctly communicate to everyone in your team, internal and external employees. This is with number 3, and you trust your internal and external employees, and you give them power and responsibility that you can work with each other and you're all on the same page. That's truly the way in any business aspect to grow and become successful. Your company, any company, Atomic in this example, but any company can have good numbers or have a good customer intern and return and intake, but you can only go so far working in one direction. You have to, when you're accurate and up to date and you're trustworthy with your internal and external employees and you're all on the same page, there's even more success that can be further, and you can strengthen as a whole. And with the last option that we provided for them with research is establishing an internship, not only just with this school, but with anywhere, any inside or out education of someone that would want to do something for the company, in this case, social media wise, because with our experience with them, they had someone doing it, not as an intern, but a full-time employee, but whatever the consequences were, they were no longer there when we arrived. And so maybe an intern would be a good idea in this type of situation. And here's the client report of our finished campaign.